It's today's mathematics. Welcome to Price Discovery. I'm your host, Billy Yenz.
It's your man Benji.
Let's get into it. All right, so this week, foreign economic data, rate cuts. That's happening. Rate cuts. Yep. So just you know what I mean? Just look this shit up yourself. I Googled it. You know what you gotta do, man. Look it up. Don't be a bitch. Like when? When do they do the September meeting? It's gonna be on the 17th. So that's what you need to look out for. Everything is already priced into the market. So once this officially drops, it's already gonna be priced into the market. All right. So keep that in mind when getting in and out of trades.
What does that mean, bro?
What you mean?
I don't know.
It's priced in.
Yeah, what does that mean? Like,
Because people are like, because sometimes people are saying like, oh, data or like a sentiment hasn't hit the market yet, right? Which means like if it's a good thing, people expect the price of whatever you're looking at to go up. Or if it's a bad thing, you're expecting the price of everything to go down. But the market is already priced in. So whatever it is that you're looking at, it's exactly wherever it needs to be. So it's a mentality thing where it's like excuse me. It's just a mentality thing where you just gotta take your expectations away from the market. Oh, because something good is supposed to happen, I'm gonna put a whole bunch of calls in. No, don't do that. Oh, because something bad is about to happen, I'm gonna go put a bunch of puts in. Don't do that. Right? You need to look at the chart and then you need to use your inferencing skills for that. Not just doing like overall assumptions based on what you think has got going on. All right. So, Benji, I know you said you wanted to, take the lead today. So go ahead and show us what stocks you've been looking at.
let's
And
just get into the price discovery, man, for this week.
yeah.
Top 2 stock picks.
Oh damn.
In no order, actually.
Hold on. Let's make sure y'all boys can see this. Okay.
But yeah, ideally, what we have here is Walmart got a big push up last week, and as you see, we're nearing all-time highs again. Since back in February. So pretty much basically coming up to this new high. I mean, we did catch this move up, first of all. So we caught the big push up. But now that we're reaching all-time highs again at 104, 105, you can start to look for signs of maybe some rejection. So if you want to catch some of those, swing scalps as it touches this all-time high resistance at one, I'd say probably starting at like 104. You could have a type stop loss, maybe like 106, 107. You're basically just trying to catch, retracement. But I do think we'll get that push up to 104, 105 early next week. So you could also catch, that play as well. But yeah, in no particular order. So we have Walmart. Another good one that we have is Citi. I like C. Shout out to the mathematics channel for putting this one in on our radar. Pretty much what we have is a breakout on the uptrend on this one. So we actually got that official breakout on Friday where it closed above. I had to mark this up, right? We look at this resistance line here at about 90, 97.5/98. Once we got that close above, we retraced, and then we got the bounce off on Friday. So looking for this bullish continuation. Let's zoom out to the weekly now to see where can price potentially go. It's actually just all-time highs. Are we on all-time highs with even the banking industry?
Nah, but we're definitely getting a cross on the 50 to 100 MA.
I don't think it's all-time highs though.
No, it can't be if the MAs look like that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, just trying to zoom out, we can still see, but
We got a lot of thin structure right here, so
Yeah, we can get a large push
Definitely
here.
get a large push, probably top of
Maybe
that zone
just
106, maybe
just
perhaps
looking at previous
97. That's crazy.
where previous price has been. This is actually a nice flip zone.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just draw this out here. This is the most previous level. And I actually been marking mine a little different recently. So if it's a buying opportunity, I like to put the green on there. And what I'll do is I'll mark it up as a dash line, so pretty much above this point where it buys. All right, and that's just from previous. My next primary resistance line, I would maybe put right here. So we're looking for the buy up into that zone. This is for the monthly. So now looking where price is currently. Just zooming over. Currently, yeah, we're closing above. So once we can at least get this push to
113.
yeah, you could at least bet on a push to 113, and that's just from the monthly time frame. So that's you gotta also keep that in mind when looking for trades, right?
100%.
So ideally, you're looking for an mid-October call, right, or early October call on this play for the full push. Then we can catch smaller pushes, but if you want to catch the full momentum on this, I think currently I'm in $100 calls expiring end of September currently. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm in. But also, leaps into October might be a good option to review here as well. What do you see?
100%. Yeah, definitely a lot of opportunity for a buy and hold situation here, minimum 6 weeks, because this is a really big gap. So worst thing we might get is a, you know, look above and fail, and then potentially continuation to the upside. But yeah, when we look back as to previous price, how has price acted in the past, right? Let's take a look, because it's always going to help inform what we're dealing with right now. And we can see that price doesn't really stay in this zone, right? This is on a weekly chart. So that means within the course of a week, this bullish momentum went from 120 to 95.
Bearish momentum.
Yeah, bearish momentum, excuse me. So this is something that when you see this, you're like, okay, cool. Well, the price is not going to stick around in this zone, which means it's looking for the next supply/demand zone. So here, right, again, just based on the weekly, long term, you can see that, okay, it'll do like a little hiccup here. And this is where I would probably expect, if I was to draw this is where I would put like my next zone. So I would do this because it's the weekly. I'll do a yellow line. So this is where I expect it to end or touch or test based on the most recent, because this is in what, 2008. All right, so again, still a whiles ago, right? For the last couple of years, price has been all the way down here. So it's just really important to see that. But yeah, I could definitely see us hitting this 113 120 zone before the end of the month. This might be a really good play to put into a midterm account, just because again, as you see, price hasn't been here in a while. We got the look above and fail back here in July. Looked above, got the strong push down, and then we still got strong momentum to the upside. So
let me draw that fib on that. You can see the perfect bounce off the 0.382. If I was to draw from, could potentially do it from, I guess I'll do it from here actually. So if we do it there, we can see we got basically a retracement almost to the 0.236. Actually, let me draw from the most recent. I think it looks better. So when we do that, we see price actually touched the 0.382 reversal zone, bounced off. We got the major push up. So yeah, we're looking for the continuation on this uptrend, right? This is the retracement. Now we're looking for the push above this previous high that was made, right, on the uptrend, right? So yeah, overall, a great play to look out for this week. The last one that I wanted to talk about was another good leap play, I think, or maybe long-term play. Especially, I like Zeta as a company just because um, they're big on leveraging AI for like marketing for different companies. So their financials look amazing, and I think that you probably will, with the AI boom that's bound to come in the next 5-10 years or so. Probably faster. Honestly, AI is already here.
Yeah, I mean, we're really booming right now.
Yeah. Well, we're not in the boom, but the boom is coming.
The boom.
The boom is coming.
Yeah, it's booming.
Yeah. So
this is pre-boom for sure.
Right. So they use AI for like marketing and things for, a lot of stuff that could be, a good use case, I think, for AI actually, as far as business goes. But yeah, let's get into the chart. You can see we kind of, basically we're in a downtrend, right? Starting from back here, but then we broke this. So now we have a neckline that we are now above. So we are at a bit of, actually I'm going to delete this line real quick. I don't know where that came from actually, because I would say if I was to draw this, right, I'm going to draw a weekly slash higher time frame, monthly maybe, resistance line and support. I would draw them right there. I don't really see much structure other than that. Maybe the next one would be up here. But let's actually zoom out a little bit first. Go to the monthly. Okay, monthly. I would actually just call this maybe a whole demand zone, honestly. If I had to draw this from the monthly, from 16 to 18 is just a demand zone. And now we got the monthly close above, and this month will look like we're holding above this, so I like this to the upside on the monthly. Let's go down to that daily, and you just pretty much see it, on a more granular level, right? This is our demand zone that we want to buy at. Closed above, then we came in. We've just been playing. We got the bounce off the moving average, right? What is this? The 200.
That's the 50.
Yeah, the 50. So it's bouncing off the 50 MA on the daily. We still are above this demand zone basically. So all this is just buying opportunities. Good time to add shares. And as far as leaps, maybe for early next year, even if you wanna, I'm personally in early next year calls. And I like to get mine not super far in price, right? Because I'd rather spend the money up front to get a good contract versus being extra risky. But you can, with leaps, since you have time on it, you can pick more aggressive strike prices on your contracts. But yeah, me personally for this, I think I'm currently already in $20 calls. Mind you, I did get in when price was when we first got this close above the demand zone. We just started playing around and consolidating in it. I've just been adding calls. So I was getting $20 calls and it was like $18. So I've just been adding to my position on that. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great play to look for this week. Not saying the push up is going to come this week, but great opportunity to buy shares and get in this play.
Yeah, super fair. A ton of upside here. Also, this is one of those plays where $20 stock. Like, let's be serious. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of opportunities to get, Amazon $230 a share, but this is where you can start really building your position somewhere, right? You find a stock that works, find a stock that has, has good financials, right? A good stock, a good company first, and then you see their stock, and then it's a decent stock, decent price. And when you look a little further, right, you see this price or this stock, excuse me, it's not scared of, going damn near double, right? So if you were to buy $20 calls, you do have the possibility, or even $20 shares, you do have the possibility of doubling your position. So you always want to be able to see what kind of opportunity is in front of you, but also like, what do you expect to get from that opportunity, right? I want to show you guys something. It's called finviz.com, right? And so what this is how you can also find different stocks, right? Because you can't just go off of what we do, right? We want to empower you to do what you need to do on your dolo. So you go to finviz.com, go to screener, right? And so what this is going to do is going to look at all the charts on all the different exchanges, indexes, right? So we've got the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, all these other ones. I'm pretty sure this is like bonds. But here's where you're going to filter, right? So let's say you're looking for a house or you're looking for a pair of shoes in your size online. It's the same filter situation. So the first thing you want to look for is the price of the stock, right? So I would say you'd find price. You want something that is pretty decent, right? So something at least over $10, right? Next thing you want to look at is volume, because if you're trying to get in and out of shares or in and out of contracts, you need to make sure that there's someone there to buy what you're selling or sell what you're thinking about buying. So I always go here and I say over 1 million minimum current volume. And then you also want something that um, not only currently has over 1 million in volume, for example, but also that's like usual, right? So average volume, I'll go here and I'll do over 1 million as well. So off that alone, right, it filtered however many stocks we were looking at from however many thousands of thousands to just about 1,300. Now, really, you want to use these filters to get your list that you're looking at closer to 5, 10, right? Um, cool. So the next thing I would look at, right, what we always like to look at is like a cross to the upside. If we're seeing a moving average of 50 crossing above the 100, and so the first thing you need to look at is like the 200, right? Price above the 200 moving average is going to typically be an uptrend. Price below that 200 moving average is typically going to be a downtrend. So when you see 200 simple day moving average, you want to make sure that price is above it, just overall, right, in general. And then again, if you're looking for an uptrend, then typically you want to find somewhere where you're going to have that gap. Again, so we just added one more filter. We went from 13 to 9, right, 900. And so after that, right, you can just kind of take a gander and see, okay, cool, what stocks are kind of showing up here. See if those kind of look familiar. Autodesk, that's a good stock, right? American Eagle Outfitters, consumer cyclical, right? Next thing, you want to look at the 20, the 50. How do you want the stock to be performing in comparison to that, right? So again, above the 50 MA, it's typically going to be an uptrend. So let's see how that helps whittle this down. And we can see that it went from 9 to 7. That's still way too many, right? So the RSI is basically how overbought or oversold a stock is in comparison to its typical average, right? So you want it to be oversold in one way or another because you want it at a discount, right? You don't want it overbought. And this is again if we're looking for calls. And that's the format that we're using right now. So let's say we're oversold, right? And that at the 10 brought us 0 stocks. So clearly that's not what we need to do. So let's do oversold at 40. Yeah. So we're getting cooked in terms of how to figure out this RSI. So let's move on from this one and let's find a different setting to use here. So the moving averages were working for us. Let's find another one that is above the 20. You could also do below the 20 because what that would mean is essentially there is opportunity there, right? For the 20 to cross above the 50 and then the 50 to cross above the 100, et cetera, et cetera. Because again, those are the types of, if you're looking for decent big moves, right, there has to be a gap to fill. There has to be somewhere for the stock to go. It's never really best practice to try to get in or out of a stock when it's above everything that it's ever been, because at some point it's going to come down. And maybe that's a good time to get into puts, but the most important thing is just understanding where your strategy is. Cool. So we did under the 20, over the 50, over the 200. Now we've got 100 stocks to look at. Also, let's look at this list. Oh, okay. This is one of the ones that we tend to look at all the time. Just at this overview, you can tell, okay, cool. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. This could be a higher low right here that Amazon is doing. And again, I'm not going to look at 112 stocks right here, but this is a good way to start. Again, moving down, filtering that list down. right? So let's see what else are some of these filters that we've got here. Net fund flows, IPO date. That's not really important for what we've got going on this upcoming week. Um, market cap. Market cap is similar to volume in terms of how much money is in this stock. Because if the company has a ton of money in it, then it's again going to be easier to trade because there's going to be more people in and out of it. All right. So let's say something over 2 billion, 86 stocks. Right. So again, getting that list smaller and smaller, but let's go bigger, right? Large stocks, 57. Still too big of a what's it called to even deal with. So let's go to mega. Cool, 6 stocks. How convenient. So Amazon is still there, which is great, right? Because we look at Amazon all the time, and that's why it's one of our stocks that we look at, right? Those Mag 7 stocks, they're gonna have the qualities that we just mentioned. So Amazon is in there. Take a look at this. MasterCard, AstraZeneca, McDonald's, RTX, right? So these are all pretty decent stocks that we want to look at because of all of the filters that we just looked at. I love this site because I can look at all these charts at a glance from this page, right? So RTX, based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like it did a look above and fail, and then it's trying to make a higher high, right? It's currently at 155. It could come touch this 160. Okay, right? NTX looks like it gapped down. Did a doji, looks like on the daily chart, and then but when it did this doji, this still has a lot of price that was acting above this doji zone. So this could definitely fill the gap to the upside from 124 to perhaps maybe 130. But that's not really that far of a move either, right? You see McDonald's here. McDonald's looks like it's been on a downtrend for a week or so, but it's still making a higher low. This could be a move to the upside for sure. Um,
Yeah,
I'd
like
have to dig into
McDonald's.
that one, right? And again, I'm just looking at these from this high level, just showing you guys how to find a stock. MasterCard, they got money. But let's look at this chart as well, right? Just from this high level overview, we did a higher high, higher low. Looks like it's making a higher low here. We'd probably look to try to see this move from 580 to 600. AstraZeneca, same situation. Looks like it still has some room to the upside, and then Amazon. So this is how you can make a watch list yourself, right? So this is how to make a watch list. So off top of glance, Blue Benji, out of all these, which one would you be most interested, super briefly, right, in looking at?
No, yeah, I was checking them out as you were breaking down Finviz, and this is a good lob, I think, especially to new users who are just even experienced users who we recommend that you actually pick, or narrow down the amount of charts and stocks you're potentially looking at. Just for the ones you're trading, like consistent. Like if you're gonna day trade, should we talk about day traders, right? Then, you know, what I've seen is that the best way to be profitable is to have more focus and
Mm-hmm.
actually drill down on, narrow down on the stocks you actually particularly look at.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean, you can also take, like personally, yeah, I still have my, handful of stocks that I watch, but I also have my ear open, right, to see or I'm into different group chats and talking to different um, people
Different
in
experts,
different
different
just
colleagues
using my
doing different
network
things.
to be in a position to receive knowledge, and we always just match minds and just give different plays, give different lobby, different opportunities to make money. And that's the good thing about mathematics, is that we're all looking to make money. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and we want to see you guys join the community. Hopefully you're learning from this. But yeah, I mean, just quickly, the ones that you mentioned is that McDonald's. I already checked out. I like McDonald's for maybe leaps towards the end of this year, maybe even early next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might get some consolidation coming up, and then we'll probably get a push up,
Mm-hmm.
probably either this month or next month. Another one, Mastercard, I was looking at. I mean, everything looks kind of bullish right now, and that's why it's kind of not everything, but there's a lot of main categories that look bullish, and I think we're at all time highs with SPY. We didn't take a look at SPY, by the way. Just briefly, really briefly look at SPY. I think the whole market sentiment is like, wow, like we're really going up. We're still going up, and I think it's like not counterintuitive, but it's also feels a little weird because of the actual sentiment of the average American citizen. You know what I mean? They're feeling a little more pressure, but the markets are not reflecting that at all. So um, I think it's a good opportunity on SPY just to make new highs, but I would just be wary. You know what I mean? Like don't put your whole 401k in it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, 100%. Another great thing, just going back to this tool, right, is that it'll show you which sectors. When you understand sector rotation, right, we've got the growth stocks, which is the ones that we're very familiar with. But once people take profit from those stocks, we'll see a dip in those stocks. But where do those profits go, right? And so typically, when you understand institutional traders, they'll take those profits and they'll add to their long-term portfolio. Maybe it's they're getting the stocks that they're already trading at a discount, but maybe they're looking for the push up on another sector, right? So it's great to understand, hey, like if one sector is doing really well, the other sector may not be. And so that can be an opportunity to either grow in that sector, your position, or that's another opportunity for that sector to bounce as well. So again, this is a great tool. This is a visualization. This is a sector visualizer that I like to be able to use. Again, it's just to help understand what is going on in the market because that informs where the opportunities are, right? So you
that's
can
right.
see that, there's different ways to just look at this. When the market is all green, right, this looks like a big salad. When the market is all red, that's buying opportunities, but it looks like a bowl of cherries, right? So it's just a different visualizer because it's good to just understand what is going on. Yeah.
Looks like right now the major sectors are technology and
Mm-hmm.
communications holding up good, uh, led by Google and Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla's going amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it from the consumer side.
Right.
And then, but overall, I think this shows a pretty risk on appetite in the markets.
Mm-hmm.
I do see some reds in more of the or just in different areas. So I think it's a pretty balanced market. But we just saw SPY, right? SPY is pushing up, which means majority of the money is still in there. We're still adding more money, right? So, um, yeah, I think just being on the lookout. Like I said, calls are definitely in play, but just be wary of the entire market sentiment and where we are, right? So, yeah,
Yep.
man, that's about it for this week, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in. Like we said, we'll be getting more strict or more concrete in our approach to creating this community and making sure we are bringing value to you guys. So thank you, man. Hope you have a great week.
Yeah. We'll see you on the weekly roundup where we'll figure out what happened in the market and how we can learn from the opportunities at hand. This is today's mathematics. Welcome to Price Discovery.